Everyone has a breaking point. But the Sigma female's breaking point looks nothing like anyone else's. There's no screaming, no public meltdown, no flood of angry messages sent at 2 in the morning, no dramatic confrontation designed to make you feel the full weight of what you've done. In fact, from the outside, it might not even look like a breaking point at all. That's what makes it so devastating. Because the Sigma female has been patient. Longer than you know, longer than you deserve, longer than most people would have lasted. She absorbed, she observed, she gave chances that were never asked for and never acknowledged. She stayed quiet when she had every right to speak. She kept showing up when the version of her that existed before all of this would have been long gone. And then one day, something shifts. Not loudly, not dramatically, just permanently. Today, we're going to walk through exactly what happens when a Sigma female finally runs out of patience. And if any part of this feels familiar, either because you've lived it or because you may have caused it, pay close attention, because what you're about to hear is one of the most important things you will ever understand about this kind of woman. Before we get into it, understand the foundation. The Sigma female is not a pushover. She was never a pushover. What looked like patience was never weakness. It was a conscious choice. A choice to observe before reacting. A choice to give people the benefit of the doubt even when doubt was already growing. A choice to believe in the possibility of change even when the evidence was pointing elsewhere. That choice has a limit, and when it runs out, everything changes. The first thing that happens when a Sigma female loses patience is something most people completely miss because it looks exactly like nothing. She goes quiet. Not the comfortable quiet of her normal solitude. A different kind of quiet. A withdrawal. A pulling back so subtle and so deliberate that most people don't register it until it's already too late. She stops volunteering information. She answers questions with fewer words. She is present in the room, but absent in every way that actually matters. The warmth that you may have taken for granted begins to cool, not in an explosive way, but the way a season changes. Gradually, then completely. She is not doing this to punish you. She is not playing games. She is not waiting for you to notice and come running. She has simply made a quiet, internal decision that the version of herself that was open, engaged, and invested in you is no longer available. Most people at this stage try to interpret the silence as a mood. They wait for it to pass. They tell themselves she's just tired, just stressed, just going through something. They're wrong. What they're witnessing is not a mood. It is a conclusion. And by the time most people realize what that silence actually means, the decision behind it is already final. One of the things a Sigma female does for longer than she should is try to communicate. She tells you what bothers her, what she needs, what she will and will not accept. Not loudly, not repeatedly, but clearly. She gives you the information. She trusts you to do something with it. When her patience runs out, she stops. She stops explaining. She stops clarifying. She stops walking you through her boundaries as if you didn't already know where they were. She stops justifying her choices to people who were never genuinely interested in understanding them. This is one of the most significant shifts in her behavior, and it is almost always invisible to the person it's directed at, because from the outside, it can look like she's become easier to deal with, less confrontational, more agreeable. But she hasn't become more agreeable. She has become indifferent. And indifference from a Sigma female is not a step toward peace. It is the last stage before exit. The Sigma female stops explaining herself to you when she has accepted one silent, irreversible truth that you already know, and you simply don't care enough to change. And once she believes that about you, no explanation she could ever give would matter. So she saves her breath, she saves her energy, and she starts spending both on things and people that are actually worth them. Here's something that catches people completely off guard. When a Sigma female loses patience, she doesn't redirect her energy dramatically. There's no announcement, no speech, no moment where she looks you in the eye and tells you she's done. She simply starts reinvesting. The time she used to spend trying to maintain something with you, she puts it into herself, into her goals, into the few relationships that are genuinely reciprocal, into her solitude, her craft, her growth. From the outside, she might even seem fine. She goes about her life. She is not visibly angry or visibly sad. She is not posting cryptic things online or making it obvious that something has shifted between you. But if you pay close attention, you'll notice the texture has changed. The small moments of connection that used to exist between you have quietly disappeared. She no longer checks in just to check in. She no longer thinks of you when she sees something you'd like. She no longer includes you in the mental landscape of her future. You have gone from being a presence in her life to being a peripheral figure. She is politely tolerating until the natural distance between you becomes official. And she is not mourning it, she is already rebuilding. A Sigma female communicates her limits through behavior. She doesn't need to write them down or deliver them as ultimatums. She shows you where she stands through the way she moves, the way she responds, the things she will and will not engage with. For a long time, those limits were flexible, not because she lacked standards, but because she extended grace. She allowed for learning curves. She gave room for people to grow into a better version of how they treated her. When patience runs out, that flexibility disappears. The limit becomes a wall, fixed, immovable, and no longer open to negotiation. What was once a soft no becomes a hard one. What was once a gentle redirect becomes a full stop. What was once a warning becomes a consequence. She no longer meets you halfway, not out of cruelty, but because she has finally accepted that meeting you halfway was always leaving her standing somewhere she didn't want to be. And she is done walking toward the middle of a space that was never good for her. People who encounter this wall for the first time are often shocked. They say she changed. They say she used to be more understanding. They say they don't know what happened to her. What happened to her is that she stopped pretending the wall wasn't already there. She just finally stopped hiding it for your comfort. This is the part that is hardest for most people to accept. When a Sigma female reaches the end of her patience and makes a decision about a relationship, about a situation, about a person, she does not go back. Not because she is incapable of forgiveness. She may forgive completely. Not because she is cold or heartless. She may still care about you as a human being. Not because she enjoys cutting things off. The endings cost her something too, even when she doesn't show it. She doesn't go back because she trusts herself, because she knows that the version of her that made that decision was not acting out of emotion or impulse. She was acting out of accumulated, carefully examined evidence. And she respects that version of herself too much to override her with hope that isn't grounded in anything real. This is what people mean when they say a Sigma female's decisions are final. It is not stubbornness, it is integrity. It is a deep commitment to not betraying herself for the sake of someone else's comfort or convenience. The apologies that come after, and they always come, are met with something more difficult than anger. They are met with calm, a calm that says, I hear you, I believe you mean it, and it doesn't change anything. Because to her, the apology is not the issue. The pattern is the issue. And a pattern doesn't disappear with an apology. It disappears with sustained, demonstrated change over time. and she is no longer in a position or a mood to wait around and find out. There is a version of a sigma female that exists before her patience runs out. She is engaged, she is present, she is open, not to everyone, but to the people she has chosen. There is warmth there is access, there is a softness that most of the world never gets to see, but that the people close to her know is real. When patience runs out, that version becomes inaccessible. Not destroyed, not gone forever, but locked behind a door that you no longer have the key to. She looks the same, she operates the same, she moves through the world with the same quiet confidence she always had. But the specific frequency on which she used to receive you has gone silent. She is not performing coldness. She is not trying to make you feel the loss. She has genuinely moved on, emotionally, mentally, energetically. She has reorganized the interior of her life and you are no longer in it. People often describe this shift as her becoming cold. But cold implies something was taken away, something switched off. What actually happened is far more deliberate than that. She didn't switch off, she redirected. Everything that used to flow in your direction now flows somewhere else. Somewhere it will be received, reciprocated, and deserved. And she does not miss the version of herself that kept giving it to you. Understanding what a sigma female does not do when she reaches her limit is just as important as understanding what she does. She does not make a scene. Public displays of anger or pain are not in her nature, not because she doesn't feel things deeply, but because her private world is sacred to her, and she will not put it on display for anyone. She does not beg or plead. She does not ask you to change, to choose her, to be better. She is long past the point where she believes that asking would produce anything real. She does not seek revenge. She has no interest in making your life difficult. The most crushing thing about the way she handles her exit is that she genuinely wishes you no harm. She simply wishes you gone, from her mental space, her emotional energy, and her daily life. She does not talk about it. She will not gather people to her side. She will not make it her mission to tell the story of what you did. She processes privately, moves forward privately, and rebuilds privately. And she does not wait for you to understand. She has accepted that you may never fully grasp what you lost. She made peace with that possibility before she ever made the decision. If you are in the middle of this, if you can feel the distance growing, the silence thickening, the warmth retreating, then let me speak to you directly. It is consistent, immediate, and sustained change, not a performance of change. She will see through that in minutes. Actual, behavioral, demonstrable change that aligns with everything she told you, showed you, and asked for, often without being given credit for having asked at all. If you can do that, genuinely, humbly, without making her responsible for managing your feelings about it, there may still be a version of this that doesn't end in silence. But if you are reading this looking for a strategy, a way to say the right things to buy more time while changing nothing, save both of you the pain. She already knows the difference. She has always known the difference. And she is running out of patience for that too. The sigma female losing patience is not a moment of weakness. It is not an emotional breakdown. It is not something that happens to her. It is something she allows, after careful thought, after more grace than most people would have extended, after a long, honest conversation with herself about what she is willing to continue carrying and what she is finally ready to put down. When she puts it down, she does not pick it back up.